So, welcome to Strictly Secrets with Hannah and Lottie.
Hello.
We have made it to the quarterfinals.
I can't believe it. It's gone very quick, hasn't it?
It has flown by. And this last weekend, lots of surprises. I mean, let's start with the dance-a-thon.
Oh my goodness. I was really nervous for it because obviously the last time they did it in 2018, it was chaos. There was a technical fault and all the judges were like, what's going on? This time though, it all went really smoothly.
So is this what they do in traditional ballroom dancing shows?
I mean, you're asking the wrong person, aren't you? But yes, yeah, I guess so.
Well, they're basically all dancing together at their own kind of, they're all doing their own dances.
Well, yeah.
And going for it.
Exactly, and they can all kind of show off their talents. I think the really hard part with the Sambathon last weekend is, you know, it's all right when you're dancing on your own, but I think when you're all trying to get out of each other's way, and I think Chris may have struggled a little bit with that, which is why a lot of people have kind of got a bit of a complaint about it, because Chris is blind. They're saying, was that not a bit of a disadvantage for him to be in that situation?
I mean, absolutely it was. But I suppose technically, the whole show has been a challenge for him, and he's, we're seeing how, he copes with that. Mm-hmm. And I suppose, he got through and he did well. I mean, the whole thing looked really stressful. I can't believe no one fell over, no one stood on each other's toes. So, I mean, all of them did well to kind of do it.
They did, but the people that I thought were doing amazingly, Montel, I thought she was doing really well. Yeah. I actually thought Pete did really well. He was taken off third, so that was quite good. But I thought they were going to do the best, and then JB surprised us all because JB won. So I think he got 7 points or something like that. So he was the last to leave. Sorry, he and who else was it? He was in the top two with someone else. Then they chose, it was him and Tasha who was going to win, and he won. And it's really mixed up the leaderboard because Tasha obviously got first 40 of the show, but then JB and her were tied at the top of the leaderboard.
Well, I think the thing about JB is that he obviously was partnered with Amy Dowden, who had to pull out sadly because of her health. Yeah. But all dancers have their own choreography styles. So he is benefiting from, he's now partnered with Lauren, he's benefiting from a different choreography style. Yeah. So I bet that has actually made him a better dancer. And I feel like it's given him a little bit of a new lease of life.
Absolutely.
Because he was in the bottom two a few times and now he's doing so well.
He's I think we've got to watch this space with JB. He could win it. I mean, it's anyone, it's all to play for. But his wife's actually a dancer, isn't she?
Yes, that's
She's a pro
true.
Dancer, so he must go home and get some lessons.
And let's not forget those routines that he did in Jealous. Oh, I mean, so good. Quite ballroom dancing, but he can memorise.
What a throwback! But yeah, it's been called a fix-a-thon by Strictly Pro Ola Jordan. Obviously, she used to be on the show. She said they've got no clue what they're doing. It messes with the leaderboard, which is important. It's not who you vote for, but it's combined with the leaderboard. So if someone drops even one place, that's going to affect them in the bottom two. So it really has had a bit of an impact.
But I also think that love Ola and James Jordan, former pro dancers.
Yes.
But I do think they're really gunning for their own kind of Strictly judging role.
100%.
They really get on their high horses on Twitter. But they're almost almost too much. It's like, all right, guys, we get it.
But I do love them, like you said, but they've always got something to say, don't they? After each series, they really do, an episode. Well, on the topic of James Jordan, he was obviously partnered with Vanessa Feltz once upon a time, a long time ago. Vanessa has made some big claims about Strictly on her YouTube channel. She has said that actually the bosses have a way that they can manipulate who gets voted out by things like their costumes. They could give them a really rubbish song choice. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
things
100%.
like that. Yeah.
I think this is actually quite validating.
Yeah.
I've always thought that on Strictly Come Dancing, the producers have obviously got their favourites, and while they can't control the public vote, they can obviously control these other variables.
They can, yeah.
So that's so interesting that Vanessa has lifted the lid at the risk of upsetting the BBC.
I know, and she's like, don't care. She's just, honestly, it was such an interesting video. She's kind of said that they've tried to do it with Pete Wicks, which I don't think we would agree with, would we?
Well, so Vanessa's basically saying that they want Pete out.
She said that, yeah, because she's saying that, in Blackpool they put him in the PVC, pink PVC.
Yes, how can I forget?
I loved that, exactly. And he danced to I'm Too Sexy, and she was saying that that's a really kind of, they're turning him into a bit of a joke, like a caricature, basically, is what she's saying. She's saying that they're doing that to push him out, but I think it's completely different. And I think he's like this sexy kind of, I think he's someone that they really want to keep in.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned Pete, Lottie, because
Always.
I personally believe that producers have created him as the Giovanni Panice 2.0.
Yes.
Obviously, Gio's off now
Yes.
because of bad behaviour. But Pete has come onto the show. He's kind of got these brooding good looks. He's a similar age to Gio. He ticks certain boxes when it comes to like the middle-aged housewife fan of Strictly Come Dancing, of which Gio has a huge fan base of. Look at the costumes they've put Pete in. They've put him in
great costumes.
A loincloth as George of the Jungle. You know, he's always showing off his muscles.
Yeah.
He ripped off his jacket when he was playing Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Those pink PVC and then like zoning in on his bum. That would be like obscene if it was a woman.
I know, exactly.
So I think they're really creating him as like the star of their show.
But I thought a little bit like that about Vito. I do agree with you, but I think Vito as well, he is doing so well on the show, obviously won last year. But did you see him with, was it Padam they did in Blackpool?
Yeah.
Him and, her name has completely gone out of my mind.
When his
Sarah. And yeah, when his pants are split, you know, I think they're putting him in like quite tight trousers. And I do think he's also like a Giovanni, don't you think?
They're objectifying
They
men for you know, to keep the viewers
not
watching.
good, not good.
I don't know.
We're hooked.
If these guys are up for it, wearing the tight costumes, why not?
Totally. So we've got to talk about Tash. I mean, Tasha did so well. She got 40, which is the first 40 of the show, of the series.
I think it's the first 40 of the show because they've been really like handing out those points.
They
I would have
absolutely have.
I would have thought that someone already got a 40, but you know, congratulations, Tasha.
Congrats. Don't you not think it's getting worse though? Like the scoring. Like we had so many standing ovations at the beginning.
I think that they realised that because they were getting a bit of a bashing for being too, like, you know, praising and giving too high marks. They're having to kind of rein it back in a little bit. But it is funny because Craig Revel did an interview this week saying that he can't be too catty anymore with his remarks. The remarks that made him famous and made that show so good to watch because he's scared of being cancelled.
Well, that's something that we've spoken about quite a lot, isn't it, on this series? We've said, what is going on with Craig? Because he will say something really quickly that's quite like catty, and then he'll say loads of nice comments, almost as if to kind of swamp it.
He'll follow it up.
He'll follow it up with so much praise. Even given a 10 today. Last weekend was a big shock. So he said, I've changed my style of judging. I was really harsh 20 years ago. I can't believe he's been on it that long, which is crazy.
He's got a good Botox doctor.
He says, when I look back, I think, oh, that's cutting. I do still say what's wrong, but you can wrap the truth in a nice way. So, I mean, even he knows that some of the things, I look back at some of those shows and he was brutal, wasn't he?
He was brutal, but he was
I loved it.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that it kind of harks back to the Simon Cowell X Factor days. Where they could have quite a lot of fun and, you know, be, you know, really kind of like nasty. But we're in that hashtag Be Kind era.
Yeah.
The show's obviously coming off the back of an investigation which saw 2 pro dancers sacked. So, you know, I think that they are really kind of having to walk on eggshells a little bit, which is a little bit of a shame. Like, I think he needs to sharpen those claws.
He does, at least for the final.
Yeah,
just for the last few episodes. Talking about the final, who do we think? Who's got it in the bag?
Well, I think that we could be seeing definitely Chris and Tasha. They're doing so well.
Yeah.
There's still some surprises in store because I was really surprised to see Jamie Borthwick go home.
I know.
We've always thought that he's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
B, he's a good dancer. But C, that EastEnders fan base isn't to be kind of, you know,
that's so true. I didn't even think about that. It was such a shock that he went, and I think a lot of people were saying that Pete should have gone. You know, that if you actually base it on dancing ability, he should have been gone a long time ago. But I'm really glad he's still in the competition.
And Moxie called Montel Douglas, who is obviously the gladiator, the comeback queen, because she's been in the bottom 2 a few times, but she's obviously really competitive. This is always what I think about sports people when they're on the show.
Yeah.
They have got that cutting edge that maybe some of the entertainers don't have, and she keeps coming back from the dead.
Oh, she does.
And I'm kind of rooting for her
I'm rooting for her, and I'm so glad they haven't got rid of her because, you know, sometimes it can become predictable when they're always in the dance-off. And then they get voted out. But they've said, no, you're getting so much better at dancing. For me, which is a complete turnaround for me, Sarah Hadland is my...
We don't talk about Sarah enough
We
on the
don't
show,
talk about her enough. And she's doing so well.
She is doing so well. She's really entertaining. She's got like a really like lovely, funny personality.
Like youthful, isn't she?
Very youthful.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go for a drink with her.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Sarah. If you're watching.
Please come and join us. And I just think think that, yeah, I think she's got loads of fans rooting for her. And I also think it's nice that a woman in her 50s is looking so sexy on screen.
So sexy.
Dancing so well.
Absolutely. Well, it's all to play for. How many weeks have we got left? 3?
So we've got 3 weeks left. We're going into the quarterfinals. I would like to see Montel and Sarah sail through to the semis.
Love that. Girl power. Can't wait. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, and comment. We always look at it, and we'll see you for the quarterfinals, right? Woo! Woo!